The voice that changed the world, Alexander Graham Bell's complex legacy. Alexander Graham Bell, an inventor, educator, and visionary, is often hailed as the man who revolutionized global communication with the invention of the telephone. But history seldom paints portraits in simple strokes. Bell's story is far richer and more complex, layered with contradictions that offer both inspiration and reflection. This video delves into the life of Alexander Graham Bell, uncovering the achievements that cemented his place in history while exploring the struggles, controversies, and consequences that complicate his legacy. Join us as we analyze a figure whose influence is still felt in today's world, inspiring both progress and critical conversation. Few inventions have changed the world as profoundly as the telephone. Imagine life before Bell's genius transformed human interaction, voices confined by proximity, messages delivered only through painstaking letters. Bell's revolutionary 1876 invention of the telephone fundamentally bridged those gaps between people, connecting continents, families, and businesses. It wasn't just an advancement in technology. It was a redefinition of relationships, commerce, and progress. The Bell Telephone Company, the cornerstone of modern telecommunications, was born of his ambition and ingenuity. But Bell's accolades extend beyond the telephone. He contributed significantly to fields like aerodynamics and hydrofoils, proving himself a polymath who could see possibilities where others saw limits. Yet perhaps the most fascinating element of Bell's story is his mission to improve communication. As the son of Melville Bell, the creator of visible speech, a tool designed to teach the deaf to articulate sounds, Alexander inherited a lifelong passion for expanding how humans connect. His legacy was designed not just to speak to the world, but also for it to speak back, bridging gaps as vast as oceans. And yet, as history reveals, that same man who connected the globe left a scar on his vision of inclusion. The road to brilliance is rarely smooth, and Bell's was wrought with challenges. In the race to patent the telephone, Bell found himself caught in heated competition with inventor Elisha Gray. A legal struggle ensued, marking one of the most famous patent disputes of the 19th century. Bell emerged victorious, but the ordeal foreshadowed the complexities of innovation. Where there is brilliance, there is also rivalry. Moreover, financial hardship marked the early years of Bell's endeavors. It's all too easy to look back and assume success was inevitable. But history enthusiasts know success's backdrop is often hours of unrelenting labor, rejection, and calculated risks. For Bell, the pursuit of his dream was as much a story of resilience as it was one of genius. The history we celebrate as triumphant often masks the trials behind the curtain. By diving into Bell's struggles, we gain a deeper appreciation not just for his achievements, but for the very human experiences of doubt, perseverance, and determination. For all his brilliance, Bell's legacy is a tapestry woven with contradictions. Paradoxically, the man who spent his life championing communication also marginalized some of the voices most in need of it. Bell was a fervent advocate of oralism, a method of teaching deaf individuals to speak and lip read while actively discouraging the use of sign language. His intentions, although rooted in the belief that assimilation into the hearing world would empower the deaf, alienated an entire community from their natural form of self-expression. The consequences were profound. Generations of deaf individuals were deprived of access to sign language, affecting education, identity, and culture. Bell's controversial stance cast a shadow on his accomplishments, inspiring ongoing debates about the balance between progress and inclusion. Quotes from Bell reveal his well-meaning but flawed perspective. He once argued that sign language isolated the deaf and that oralism was the path toward integration. Yet members of the deaf community have since reflected on how this perspective disregarded the richness of their culture. Did Bell's blind spot arise from his ambition, or does it reveal the prevailing attitudes of a bygone era? Such contradictions make Bell a compelling case for historical analysis. Examining his legacy forces us to consider broader questions. Can progress be measured by innovation alone? Is intention enough to absolve the unintended consequences of one's vision? To truly understand Alexander Graham Bell, one must step beyond the achievements and controversies to see the human at the heart of it all. Bell's own words shed light on his motivations and dreams. Asked about his choice to dedicate his life to communication, Bell once mused, "Before anything else, preparation is the key to success." This belief in preparation and education fueled his endeavors, driving not only his inventions, but his approach to confronting the complex societal issues of his time. But Bell was not without criticism during his lifetime. Deaf activists have often highlighted how his advocacy for oralism reflected paternalistic attitudes so common in the late 19th century. Reflecting on Bell's statements about sign language reminds us how historical figures are often products of their time. While acknowledging their contributions, we must also analyze them critically to understand the full breadth of history's lessons. Modern voices within the deaf community offer powerful insights as well. They highlight how sign language empowers identity and culture, countering Bell's narrative of oralism as a universal path to success. This debate isn't merely historical. It is a framework for ongoing discussions about inclusivity and respect in modern education. As we step into 2025, Alexander Graham Bell's legacy remains undeniably impactful yet deeply complex. The telephone reshaped human connectivity, triumphantly binding friends, families, and nations in unprecedented ways. But alongside this triumph is the legacy of his views on deaf education, a reminder that even the greatest achievements often arise from imperfect, flawed individuals. For history enthusiasts, figures like Bell serve as a potent reminder of our role as caretakers of the past. Examining these complexities doesn't diminish Bell's genius. Instead, it enriches our understanding of the context that birthed both his innovation and his controversies. It challenges us to aspire for progress that is bold yet inclusive, revolutionary yet considerate. So, how do we reconcile Alexander Graham Bell's groundbreaking invention with his controversial stance on oralism? Perhaps the answer lies not in reconciliation, but in conversation. By examining both his achievements and the voices he marginalized, we can step closer to creating a world where communication truly knows no boundaries. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if history's most complex figures captivate you, subscribe to uncover more stories that continue to inspire and challenge. Because history isn't just about the past, it's about understanding how it shapes the future.